Hello everyone, this issue should have been earlier, but it took a while to find all the material. Life has taught Heath to take any business seriously, and bodybuilding is no exception. At the 2003 North Colorado tournament, he not only wins his first victory as a bodybuilder, but also meets bodybuilding star Jay Cutler, who was surprised by the newcomer's success and decided to talk to him personally after the performance. That's how he met his future friend and mentor. Phil Heath is loved not for the pounds on the barbell, but for the depth and muscle development. Not for the power in the basic movements, but for the 3D effect on the stage and the unique genetics. And while the legends of the past claim that the path to top form was directly related to huge weights, while Coleman and Cutler were racing in size and shoveling all the iron that was in the gym, Phil Heath is a completely different athlete. Today we will compare him with Ronnie, and of course we will analyze the story of Kai Greene from Phil's side. What we saw in the Generation Iron is part of the script. Okay, but how are things going between them in real life? They were restrained and stiffly friendly during training sessions on camera and at various events, but they simply couldn't stand each other at press conferences and on stage. Well, let's get started. But first, an interesting point, the question of the happiest childhood memory? Phil replied, "Perhaps these are two memories from high school. The first was when we won the high school basketball state championship. It was a special, unique moment because we gave everything we had to win. Playing in a real basketball league was the dream of all the guys in the area, and I didn't want to miss my chance. This made me train with special zeal and diligence. And the second memory is when I went to college because it was a significant indicator for our neighborhood. I didn't grow up in the most prosperous and safe neighborhood, but there are good things to be found in everything. On the one hand, I was very happy as a child. On the other hand, it was full of gangs, mafia groups, and so on. But there were caring parents who always advised to stay away from problems. I moved away from this crime and tried to focus on my own education and development, went to high school and then to college. Cool, he's also good at basketball. In general, these two achievements were probably the most significant for me at that stage. Do you have a favorite team and player? My favorite player, of course, is LeBron James. If you look at the history of basketball in general, then I'm a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers. They dominated the league when I was a kid. Watching Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was an incomparable pleasure. The conflict of the champions seemed like such sworn rivals should be looked for, and here's Phil's honest answer about Kai. We finally need to clarify everything. Kai and I turned professional around the same time. I was in 2006 and he was a year later, and we met on stage more than once. In 2010, he beat me at the Arnold Classic. I came second at the Olympia, and I haven't lost since. But now, especially for my fans, Kai's fans, or both of us. It's true, there were a lot of crazy things and shit going on between us both on stage and backstage. Gradually, I realized that Kai is an incredibly emotional athlete. He gives everything to bodybuilding. There's no doubt he always wanted to become Mr. Olympia and the best bodybuilder on the planet. But I wanted the same thing, and it's clear that we clashed in the interests of, but you fans have become the most important trash tokers in the world and have simply raised everything to a universal scale. Kai and I have similar schedules. We often cross paths at events. While I always try to shake his hand, he reciprocates. He is friendly with my beloved, with my parents. Yes, everything is fine. At the same time, was he talking crazy nonsense at press conferences, provoking me? Yes, of course. After we discussed it in private, we clarified what was going on, and then, at the exhibition, we would have trained in the same gym anyway. Bradley Martin and Dana Lynn Bailey came up with the idea. They say, let's train together, shoot viral videos, do everything in beauty. And why not? But people, as soon as they see me and Kai Greene in the same gym, training side by side, they think, oh my God, how is this possible? But it's worth considering that when you're constantly on the move, you often don't have enough motivation to train. And I'm not hiding it, we motivate each other in this regard, we make each other work harder. If suddenly everything turns out that we see each other on stage again, then our relationship will certainly be far from strong and friendly. It will be solely about competition. In some ways, we're like Jay and Ronnie, but in the end, you have to admit, all of this matters more to you than it does to Kai and me. As I said, we have crossed paths more than once and have decided everything for ourselves in personal communication for a long time. And I understand that someone might think that the relevance of this topic has long since passed. Why are you stirring up the past? Their duel is a long past stage. Maybe so, but it wasn't until after Greene's departure that Heath found no worthy rivals. And if Dexter Jackson and William Banach were earlier in form, it's debatable, but they can show something to the champion. Then in terms of show, mental competition, and a vivid emotional struggle, Heath simply does not have rivals. Here are a couple of suggestions from Heath that clarify his attitude to hardcore and athletic longevity. I can and do work hard, but it's kind of pointless for me. I tried to squat a lot, but for me it was a work on the edge, and I wondered if it was worth it. I was never going to become a guy with huge strength training, crazy squats, and so on. It is important for me to ensure a high intensity of training and at the same time not to get injured. 3 to 4 discs on each side on the simulator or on the barbell, work for 15 repetitions or so, that's enough for me. First of all, the result is important to me and I get it. I think this quote from Phil is enough to understand his approach to training, but at the same time, Heath is by no means weak. Yes, he squatted with a weight of about 185 kilograms for 80 repetitions, reaching up to 225 kilograms in the same range. It's not a record, but it's not a small number, especially considering how many more different presses, lifts, and other movements he performs to work out his hips and lower legs. 15 leg exercises a day for the current. Mr. Olympia is also hell, but at the same time, reality and prerequisites for progress. If we consider his bench press, then there is an interesting video as a hit in the framework of a conditional competition. Although without bending his elbows to the end, in such a builder's manner he shook 100 kilograms for 46 repetitions, but the victory was awarded to Jeremy Freeman, who didn't bend his arms or touch his chest. In general, he did anything but test reps. However, we are now talking about hitting 100 kilos for 46 repetitions, which is very good. Just like the multi-rep dumbbell press of 66 and 76 kilograms, these are certainly not monstrous 90-plus kilo projectiles from Ronnie's workouts, but they are with the hit is too different, and it has already been mentioned. As for the standoff, there was no reliable data, only rumors and assumptions, but in general, the hit often works in simulators, and even in them they demonstrate their power. For example, in the same Hummer, in which the weights sometimes go well over 200 kilograms. As a result, there is essentially no information about the one-time maximum in the basic movements, about the difference between Ronnie, the 8-time Mr. Olympia, and Phil. Comparing their training methods clearly clarifies a certain romanticism in Ronnie's style. This is the pursuit of weights, hard work, a serious approach to the base, but as a result, lost health. Although Ronnie says that bodybuilding has nothing to do with it, it's all about genetics. Phil is a clear pragmatism in strategy. He works hard and no one disputes this, but at the same time restrains himself. He gives his best, but he knows the measure. Once again, a word to the champion. Many people shouldn't think that I train easily. No, my work is also full of pain and sweat. Plus, I have a very busy schedule, and by the way, like many of you, I sometimes have to literally carve out time for training. But even so, it's true I don't reach extreme weights like some legends of the past. I'm on the verge of Ronnie or Dorian. I'm not sure if it was worth it. I don't think so. All these brutal deadlifts and squats, sooner or later they will make themselves felt. And the same Dorian, yes, he trained like no other, but he tore his biceps on deadlifts, almost completely tore his triceps before the last Olympia. In general, this is all a game with fire. As far as I'm concerned, it's very important to avoid injury. I want to perform for a long time and still stay healthy at the end of my career. I want to win as much as Ronnie. I just think it can be done in different ways. During his 5-year professional career as a bodybuilder, Phil Heath did not fall below the 5th place in any of the tournaments, including the Olympia, and in the end received the long-awaited title, which fully confirmed his nickname, The Gift. In total, Heath won 7 Olympia titles in a winning streak from 2011 to 2017. In 2018, he took 2nd place, losing the title to Sean Roden, and in 2020 he entered the competition stage for the last time with third place. Finally, a message from Phil Heath before the last performance. If you guys are facing major turns in your life, career, or relationship right now, I really urge you to understand the why before you recuperate or move in a new direction. Remember that when you engage in introspection, you will be forced to show such vulnerability that you may feel uncomfortable, like during a terrible leg workout day. What's good about discomfort is that you've now opened up your mind, body, and spirit to transcend boundaries, dropping dead weight to achieve your goals. I've applied this technique in my life, and it's opened up a new path for me to create what I hope are triumphant moments on and off stage. We're doing this together, let's go. Share your thoughts on whether you missed the Phil-Kai duel in the comments. And as always, I appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications when new videos are released. And thanks for watching. Sports Guru was with you. See you later.